Begin. Hey guys, I'm here with Raquel. How you doing, Raquel?
Hi, I'm
You
good.
good? You good? So Raquel, have you always been on the Democratic plantation, or when did you leave, if you were
No,
on it?
no. I'm like Amazing Lucas. I never was. I never voted Democrat, and yeah, I've pretty much my whole life been a conservative. And so my mom, it's my mom. She I think she voted Democrat like once when she was younger, but she just was like not feeling it. And so I guess, by the time, all my siblings actually, we're all conservatives. And so yeah, she just kind of implanted it in us when we were younger. And so, because like with Obama and stuff, I never voted for Obama. And I know like a lot of people are like mad about some of the things that he did. Like a lot of people voted for him and they felt like he let them down. But I noticed like whenever he was running, all the things that people like noticed about him that they didn't like later on, those things are actually there from the beginning. But because like a lot of people really just wanted a black president, they didn't really like pay attention to it. And
Hey,
so yeah.
you're absolutely right. Because
Hmm.
looking back, I'm like, oh, I saw the signs.
Yeah.
Oh, like, but
Yeah.
I couldn't have admitted it then. So,
Yeah.
best thing I think I can do, and other people that did feel that way but feel differently now, is just kind of to forgive yourself, because, a lot of people, there's, even though they're smart and they have logic, a lot of their emotional blind spots get in the way of them making logical decisions.
Yeah, yeah. And I get it. It makes sense. Especially like my grandparents, I really understood why they wanted to vote for him. I know, they used to live in Mississippi, like a lot
Ooh.
of black people. And so, they experienced like the racism stuff. So they were
like
really
like
excited
real
to like,
racism, right? Like real racism, not
yeah,
this,
yeah,
not
real
this
racism.
microaggression
Mhm.
shit. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And so I get it with them, but yeah, 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 he had some issues, but it was hard to see, I guess, because it was cool, like, and he was a cool guy too.
Yeah,
And so,
my parents had me late. My parents are like in their mid 70s and stuff. So same
oh
thing.
wow.
Yeah, same thing. So I get that. I get that generational thing. I get them needing to see that.
Yeah.
And it's weird because some of the stuff that I talk to them about society, they actually are on board on. But if I like bring up Obama, like
Mm.
they just shut off. If I bring
Yeah.
up talking to them, they're just like, it's like a wall. They build a wall up so fast you can't even. I'm like, all right, that's kind of like a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
They know how I feel and they respect my decision. Like I'm really
Mm.
grateful that I don't have these parents that are gonna like disown me because of my
Yeah.
political beliefs. But I understand that that's that it's a different thing for them. I don't know.
Mm.
So
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, my grandfather, I like, he would just go to town on Trump. He's like, he's awful, he's a snake, he's this, he's that. And I just let him do it. I was just like, all right, okay, I'm just not gonna fight it. Because he's just like, he's serious about Obama and, just so proud of him and everything. And so, I'm just like, oh, you know what, you're old, so I'll let you have it.
so
So yeah.
I have a question though. How did you said you have four siblings?
Three siblings.
So there's
Four
four of
is
you,
four altogether.
and you're all conservative.
Yeah, my
How did you not
brother.
rebel? Your mom must be an awesome person for you to respect her.
Yeah.
Which, do you mind me
Um.
asking? Was her dad around? Was it just your mom, or?
Oh no. My dad. He's around. He's conservative too, but he hasn't always been. I think he voted for Obama once, and then but yeah, yeah. I mean, she's just really convincing. I think like she just. Another thing I think it is that growing up, we never watched like we never had cable. We never had like we watched TV, but it was like not like we didn't really like we didn't have like CNN or MSNBC stuff like that.
We didn't
And so
have. I
I
didn't have cable either. But we
oh
had
yeah
TV. I didn't grow. Well, I didn't grow up with cable. We couldn't afford it,
yeah
and now all my friends
yeah
had cable. And I'd be like, and when I was older, I was like, I can't. Well, I move out on my own. I'm gonna get cable, and that was the first thing I
yeah
did. But I did get cable, and then I was like, this is lame. I don't even watch it that much.
yeah.
I can buy any TV show I want. I can just rent it or get it on Netflix. It's
Hmm.
not a big deal. So why am I watching
Yeah
cable? It's like a waste of my
yeah
life and my money. But yeah,
yeah
You think TV has a huge influence on the generation, though, since
Mm.
you're saying that you didn't have cable?
Yeah, and I think that like we just didn't sit around like, cause like when I go to Chicago to my grandparents' house, it's like MSNBC is on like for hours, hours and hours. Like it just never ends there. And the whole time, since I don't watch stuff like that, when we went to go visit, the TV was on, and they were just it was just negative Trump like 24/7, and I wasn't really used to that because we don't see that. And so I was like, well, no wonder you guys hate him. Like
Yeah.
it's like
It's like
that's all they say.
like woo, like the waves are just going into their head.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think people with TV and stuff, people consume and they don't even think about it. And
Yeah.
my mom does this, which just drives me crazy, but she can go to sleep with the TV on. I can't do that.
Yeah.
I never could. Even when I was growing up, when I was growing up, first 8 years of my life, we had a 1 bedroom, and I would have to share the bedroom with my parents, and they would sleep with the TV on.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they had their bed, and I had a little bed next to their bed, and I couldn't I had to get used to sleeping with the TV on because that was the only place that I could sleep. But as an adult, that I can't even deal with the LED lights. If there's like a VCR light or something, I have to cover it. I can feel it. I don't know, like the vibration or like the energy or something.
Yeah.
But I think that I know that there's also been proof that the alpha waves actually change your brain chemistry, and you're basically in a hypnotic. Oh, okay. That's one thing I'm going to add. Alpha waves.
Yeah.
I was telling Raquel that I usually now, this is the third video that I've done, but I'm making a list. If a subject comes up and I want to add more info, I'll put a link in the description box so people can go look at it. So I'm trying to do it as we talk, so I don't have to watch the whole interview over again like I had to do the past few interviews. But yes, alpha waves, they change your brain chemistry. They put you in a hypnotic state. So a lot of these people that are brainwashed, people say that, and they hear that, they think that you're calling them stupid, I think.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily the case. They are brainwashed. They're basically, kind of, I would even say against their will, being fed information to get them to think a certain way. Because if people don't understand how potent alpha waves are and how effective mass manipulation is by the catchphrases that they use and the fear that they use and the lies that they tell and the divide and conquer strategies that they use, it really is a it's a form of a mass manipulation.
Yeah, I totally agree. I really think that's why we never jumped on the Obama bandwagon like a lot of other people did. We just didn't have that suggestion always coming to us, and so we just kind of looked at it from what our values were, and our values just didn't line up with his. And so I mean that's
fascinating. That's fascinating. That's fascinating because I don't really meet a lot of black people that never voted or weren't fooled by Obama.
Yeah.
So it's great to know that it's really humbling to think that there are people that do stick to their values and they don't really use race as a way of connecting with someone or something. And I mean, it should be that way. It really should. I kind of said I am kind of playing identity politics a little bit with this series because I want to get more people of color, more people that aren't heard to speak out about their points of view. So I'm not going to
I loved it though, by the way. I love that series. I love the title, Blacker Than Thou. I was like, that's wonderful.
Do you know, did I tell you why? I don't know even know if I explained why I named it that.
Yeah, I don't know.
So my uncle, my mom's brother, he has this term, Blacker Than Thou. So I was going through to junior high. Flashback. First 8 years of my life, I grew up in Koreatown in Los Angeles. Now it's called Koreatown. Oh. So it was a lot of immigrants that were Asian immigrants and a lot of Latin immigrants. So I didn't really go to school around a lot of black people until junior high, right?
Yeah.
So then when I was in junior high, I was really kind of excited because I wanted to go to school like around other black people. But then they kept making fun of me because of how I talked and my interests and everything and how I dressed. And like I never was black. And I was like the first year, I'm really blessed I learned this lesson. But the first year, like in junior high, I tried my damnedest to try and fit in to please them. And you know, these people seem like they have the keys to blackness. I remember talking to my uncle about this. He was like, he goes, I like to call those the blacker than thou people, the people that that think. He goes, and this didn't really start happening until like the 1960s, where there was like this divide of black people that, you know, that felt the need to like tell you how black you are. You know, like they have the keys to blackness, and they have the right to tell you how to speak and how to walk and how to talk and who you should vote for, all of this stuff. So that's where I got the term blacker than thou to them. So you know what I mean, the blacker than thous, right?
Yeah. Right? I grew up in the suburbs, and so I kind of like, I can experience that. Like I don't even think I talk white, but people, you know, have accused me of that, and I'm like, well, I know I don't talk ghetto, if that's what you mean, but I don't think I talk like, you know, like a white girl, you know? So.
Well, I guess talking proper is considered talking white. And then there's some, I don't agree with this, but there is some, I guess, basis for why some people feel that way. So when I was in college, I remember taking classes, and there are people that try and say, like scholars and professors that are trying to say that it's kind of like this redefinement of people that are trying to define themselves by speaking a certain way and spelling things a certain way in order to have their own kind of independent thought. So like they'll spell Africa with like a K instead of a C, or they'll say certain things like the Ebonics argument and all that stuff. I thought it was bullshit, but whatever. I mean, there are people that have tried to justify it. And I'm just like, well, English is English. And, you know, but it's interesting because I always talk about this, but I lived in Taiwan for a couple of years. I'm learning Mandarin. And I noticed with Chinese, though, they kind of have the same thing. They're different dialects. They're different. They have different judgments about, like, they're actually like ghetto Chinese people. You know, because they talk with like a harsher tone in their accents. And then they're like the upper class people that view them as like ghetto, you know, so they don't use the word ghetto. They have their own word for it, whatever, you know. But they have like a way of, you know, it's a class thing, really, you know. At the end of the day. Yeah. So
more than anything.
You know, and the same thing with Spanish, you know, and other languages. There's a distinction of class which is separated between language. So, but they want to, you know, I think a lot of people just don't think deeply enough to really label it that way. So they'll just say, oh, you're white. You talk white.
Yeah.
I even tried when I was trying to please the blacker than thous. I even tried to talk black, but I felt miserably at it. You know, I was really awful. I'm like, hey, girl, what's up? You know, girl, you know, like I tried. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, girl, you know.
Do you think that's why you know, kind of became conservative? Because I kind of feel like me being in the suburbs around white people kind of is part of the reason why I was more open to like being a conservative, because a lot of things that like my relatives in Chicago would say about black people, I didn't see that. And so I was just like, you know, I know you guys talk about racism and stuff a lot, but I live with them. They're not really that bad. Like, it's not like race is not that much of an I mean, obviously it's, you know, comes up, but it's not as much of an issue as I think they make it. And so and so do you think that's why maybe you
I would say, because I want to put people before me that consider themselves conservative. I have some conservative values. I wouldn't say I'm like a full-on conservative. I don't really market or label myself that way. Like, I'm just like, I'm a truther. But I think in my journey with a lot of stuff I've experienced these past few years has led me on this road. I just see how crazy the left is. I already like, so I guess your answer is no. I don't think that's why I've had some of the values I have, but I think that it's been kind of like by issue, you know? So like I've increasingly become pro-life.
Yeah.
But because of a ex-boyfriend that I had more so than anything else.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, who's weird, who was like an atheist. I'm not an atheist, but I dated a guy, and we're friends to this day. He's an awesome person who was an atheist, but he was like hardcore pro-life. Like, yeah, he's an anomaly. Yeah, he was just like, because he just never bought into the argument that it was just a bunch of a clump of cells. And he just was like, you're still killing a human being. And he would tell me stuff. And we also had to figure out, like, our sex life, because I don't believe in, I believe in charting. I believe in natural birth control and stuff like that. Not abstinence, but I was at a pro-life rally not too long ago, and I was talking about, like, the Billings method and the rhythm method and charting and getting to know your body and all this stuff. So I know the dangers of birth control pills and Depo-Provera and all the IUDs and all that stuff. I don't think that's how. So with that, like, I'm like, well, I'm not doing that. He was like, well, if you're getting pregnant, I don't want you to kill it because I'm pro-life. So we had to kind of figure out, like, where we stood with that. And he's just he's really good at diplomacy, and just, even though there's some things we don't agree on, like, he's definitely gained my respect in a lot of ways, just about how he approaches stuff and the amount of research and the passion that he has. But he put some stuff on his wall with the pro-life stuff that gave me, like, nightmares. Like, I didn't even know. Oh, so if you guys that post on social media and you think that people aren't watching, they are. And this is why they want to censor people. Like, it's me. Because I think with that situation, a lot of people don't think about, you just don't think, like, I never really thought about it. I was just like, oh, well, if I get pregnant, I'll just have an abortion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've had friends that have done it. I don't judge them for doing it, because I think that they're all just kind of brainwashed. And, you know, at the end of the day, they never get away with it. Like, every person I know that's had an abortion, they regret it. They're tortured by it. A lot of them say that they would never do it again. I mean, even though I have had friends that have had multiple abortions, but even then, they're still like, oh, I gotta get another abortion. Oh, like, it changes. One of my friends was like, it changes you. She goes, it really does. You know, I had another friend that said she cried. She only had, like, one, but she said she cried every day for, like, a year. Every morning she woke up, like, you know. Oh my God. Yeah, and there are women that I know have had, like, they'll go crazy because they have you know, I remember I was reading one case, a lady kept hearing the vacuums and stuff like that. And, you know, some women, my cousin, because she had an abortion, she had complications with one of her child because they messed up something in her uterus. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why I feel like there was a point where I was like, well, maybe I would do it, but I think that's why I never could do it. Well, I mean, I never really, like, was in a situation where I really needed to, but I just felt like I probably wouldn't, just because I wouldn't want to live with it. And so that's what I pretty much figured. Like, I don't think I could do it just because I don't want to live like that. Like, just I would hate that.
Yeah. I mean, so I think, though, right now it's just a matter of getting people to hear the other side. And I interviewed people, some people there, and there are quite a few people that were just like, yeah, I just actually heard the other side. I'm like, that's it? Like, like, that's all it took? Like, wow, this is why they really want to, prevent people from speaking out. And you have to remember, it's a business, too, because with those babies aren't discarded or burned or cremated. They're given to scientific research. And there's specific procedures and specific abortion clinics, too, that have a way, or I should say a specific way of aborting the babies to make sure the baby's intact so they can be used for research. Yeah, you know, so I don't, it's pretty gnarly. So that, just kind of understanding how the media has lied on a lot of issues. I mean, my awakening came with my friend's son being vaccine injured, and us realizing how deep the rabbit hole goes, but how evil the pharmaceutical industry is. And I think once you kind of go down that rabbit hole, you can see the same kind of patterning in other things. You can see how the media lies. You can see lobbyists in their role. You can and trying to influence politicians and in laws and stuff like that, but that goes across every area, not just vaccines, of like, climate science and other things like that. So I think just with the lying media and the craziness of the left, and, I've never been about forcing my values on people, how they're trying to, impose their will on people. Like I was saying, I have a lot of gay friends, so I support gay marriage, but I don't support I support the baker too that didn't want to make the cake, because if he don't want to do that, then he don't want to do that. If he thinks it's wrong, then that's his deal. Like I don't understand this whole thing about trying to teach people a lesson.
I get it.
So it just, the left has gone crazy, and I just don't want to have anything to do with that. But I mean, I think there's some issues on the right too. I was talking to somebody about this today too. Like people run from the left to the right thinking that they're safe, but it's really a human condition where people want to impose their ideals on you, because people on the right can get like that as well. But I just think that, like, at this point in history, it's more showing up on the left. And the Democrats are using the leftist ideology to impose their agenda. So now the community seems to be a little bit more safer on the right, but I'm still not, like, completely safe. I'm still, like...
I know. I'm suspicious of everything. Like, it was like a chain reaction, like you were saying. Like, you learned about the abortion, and then you started, you learned about the vaccine, then you learned about something else. That's kind of what happened to me. My mom, she usually is the one who, like, came up to me with something, was like, oh my gosh, 9/11 was an inside job. And I was like, what? And so, like, it just, like, spiraled. And the more I looked,
that
like,
too,
me too. And like the vaccines, like everything, like she would come to me first. I would think she was crazy. Then I would look it up, and then I would be like, oh, I guess she's right.
Well, you know what though? You have a lot of respect for your mom, it looks like, just because, like, I feel that was kind of like my attitude, because this channel started out with a podcast 2 years ago, where all of our episodes are on SoundCloud. So we started off with that, and we didn't really start putting any effort into growing the channel until the early part of this year. We just put up since 2011, we just put up a video every year, and there, now and then we didn't really. But anyway, long story short, 9/11 was an inside job. A lot of people, if you actually look into the story, you can see the flaws and the holes in it. Just like even people criticize people speaking out against Sandy Hook. I don't know exactly what happened there, but I know that there are holes in the story. So I'm just like, I'm not a big proponent of just like looking at the news and just believing everything they tell me, especially since they've been caught lying so many times before about so many other subjects. Why would I believe them?
I can't believe them about anything. Even when it comes to like the natural hair thing, like I'm suspicious, because I actually came across some pictures like yesterday. Because I was trying to figure out how to hook my camera up. Didn't work. But yeah, I came across some pictures from when I was in college, and my hair is like up to here, like under my chin, like right about here. And I remember I was trying to grow it, and I was trying to grow it the whole time. Like I remember like 5 years trying to grow it, and then all of a sudden, I started, the natural hair thing became, popular, and I started doing that, and now I have hair, and I was just like, what the heck, like. Are you guys sabotaging me? Like us, like honestly, are you like, why would you sell us products that do that to our hair, And
I know. Well, I mean, there's money in it, I used to get weaves because I didn't did I go? Okay, so I used to get weaves until I saw that Chris Rock movie. You know what I'm talking about? Good Hair. Yeah. And it really disturbed me. You guys, if you haven't seen that movie, you guys should check it out.
I've seen it. It's good.
Yeah, so good. I'm going to write this, Good Hair. Anyway, there was a segment in there where they were talking about how Indian Remy hair was being stolen from people. Yeah. And I was like, you mean I might be wearing stolen hair in my head? I thought women actually just went and, like, sold their hair, and that's how they got it. Anyway, so guys, we got to catch people up, right? So guys who don't know, Indian Remy is a type of hair, and it blends for whatever reason, when it's straightened and pressed with African American hair or black hair, it blends the best. And people pay top notch for this type of hair. First they were using Chinese hair, but Chinese hair was still too straight. Yeah. So you can still kind of tell. But then when people discovered Indian Remy hair, that was like the best hair to get weaves with, because it looked the most natural when you blend it with and straighten. Like if I were to straighten my hair and then blend it with the Indian Remy hair, then it would look the most natural. So, so anyway, in Good Hair, he's talking about, people like, will be at a movie theater watching a movie and somebody would just come and snip their hair off and sell it because it's a black market for it. Because, I mean, I would pay like, and this is like still lower ends, right? You can pay anywhere from like $200 to $1,000 for a pack of hair. And then you have to kind of measure hair and see how much hair you need. And then a lot of times you reuse the hair because you can wash it and stuff. But, I mean, like Beyonce, and I think they do lace front wigs, though. She probably does lace front.
Probably,
Yeah, but it's still made with that hair.
Yeah.
So, yes. So that, and then later, I just, I also found out that there's a high correlation between black women and fibroid tumors.
Yeah.
With some of the hair products and the relaxers and stuff. So...
is that they think that the relaxer could be the problem causing it?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Because even if white people, even if white people, because I know that the white people or non-black people that straighten their hair too, but they don't use as much. They use the same stuff, but not as much. The concentration isn't as high. So like my hair is really tight. So the thicker my hair is, the thicker anybody's hair is, the more higher concentration of lye that they're going to have to use to straighten their hair. Because what it does, it breaks down the bonds. So I put it looks like mayonnaise. So I put this stuff like mayonnaise on my hair, right? And as I'm straightening it, I'm combing it. My hair is, the bonds are being straightened, and then I wash it off, and it's then my hair's straightened. But it's basically you're putting acid on your hair. If you get it on your skin and it gets on your skin, you leave it on too long, it burns your skin. So you can get scalp burns from your skin. I met a lady who was saying that she went natural because her friend's a mortician, and when he would like cut into, I guess he would have to cut into the scalp sometimes to pull the faces up for black women, he noticed that there was like this crust that was underneath the surface from the relaxers.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
see,
so
I knew it. I was
You're like, I knew it!
I think this is like conspiracy. They try to make our hair short and break off. Like, what the heck?
Well,
trying to make us sick.
I don't know. I mean, I'm all about conspiracies, but in this sense, I think it was started as a way to, like, Madam C.J. Walker, you know her, right?
Yeah.
She was the one, if you guys don't know, she was one of the first black millionaires who got rich off of hair products, straightening, selling, hair products and stuff. I mean, maybe, who knows? I don't think in that sense it was a conspiracy, but as the years went by,
I think that
as the years went by, it went good intentions in it. But as the years went by, plus now we have the tools to like do research and figure out. You know what? I don't think she was like, I'm gonna give black women cancer.
Yeah, no.
But the
white people,
and it was a better way for people to integrate into society because we just didn't know how to take care of our hair. Like, thank God for the natural movement on YouTube. There's a huge natural hair movement. And I would watch videos on how to take care of my own hair. And I think a lot of the reason why black people get so offended and just, if you touch their hair, I mean, of course, I don't want people to come up to me and I'm not a fucking pet. I'm not like a dog and just start touching my hair. But at the same time, I think there's some black people that they just blow it like way out of proportion too. There's some black people, they're gonna like cut your head off if you like brush up against their hair or something. Like, there are people that just they're too damn dramatic about that as well. So, but I think a lot of that comes with from insecurity, being insecure.
Yeah, I do too.
About their hair. So now that I'm more secure about my hair, I don't mind telling people about my hair. I don't. If people want to touch my hair, as long as their hands are clean, as long as I know where their hands have been, I don't mind if they ask me. I don't get like offended. Because how else are people gonna know? How else are people gonna know? And if if you're a person that has straight hair, you see all these hair commercials. There's always people with straight hair. It's never people with natural hair. So it's not like it's like I know how white hair works or non-black hair works. It's like everybody knows because they always see it on TV. There's always but there's this whole like secretive underground about like the natural hair. And so anyway, the whole, you're saying that was kind of a conspiracy, I think.
Later, like, I just think that some of the, like, they just maybe started wanting to make money more than make a good product that wouldn't break her hair off. And so, yeah, I just think it turned into something. Like, I think they may have known how dangerous the chemicals were, but kept doing it. Like, kept
yeah, of
selling
course.
it. You know?
That's a lot of stuff that makes millions and millions or billions of dollars. From what I understand, the black hair industry is $1 billion industry, and Koreans have the market on that. $1 billion.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, you know, so it's not like black people don't even have. I think they're starting to now with the natural hair movement, because now you have like Carol's Daughter, Miss Jessie's, Mixed Chicks. Those are all like black owned companies started by black women that have more. So I had some Miss Jessie's curl pudding. But you know, that doesn't work as much as well on my hair either. I've tried shea butter. My hair really retains moisture when I twist it, but if it's like natural like this, it's hard. It's hard to like retain moisture. It's interesting, but I still like it though, because it's very malleable. I can do my hair really. I can braid my hair really easy. I don't have to use anything on it really, you know, like except conditioner. Yeah, and I'm good.
We just use like natural stuff. Yeah, we just be like, we like getting stuff out of the kitchen and stuff. We just put stuff.
Do you make your own hair products?
Well, my mom, she like mixes like stuff. She always comes up with concoctions and herbs. She's always been like this, which I think is why. I'm gonna have to like
talk to your mom.
Yeah,
because I do I feel like Miss Jessie's is so expensive, and it kind of sort of works on my hair. And it's not, and I'm just like, I need something, but I want something that's natural that I can make in bulk so I can use, because I like to swim and all that stuff too, that I can use and not have to spend an arm and a leg on too, because a lot of these products are expensive, you know?
Yeah. My mom, she only does natural stuff, and my sisters, like, they all have like 4C hair. I have like a mixture, like 4B, 4C. But
yeah, I can tell. I'm definitely 4C.
Yeah.
I'm like straight up like hardcore 4C.
Yeah, and she's.
I'm sorry. We should let people know what the 4C is. But I'm sorry, go on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so she. I think it's interesting is because even though they have 4C hair, it's still different. It still responds differently, and we all figured, like, you know, we started realizing like what works on one 4C doesn't work on the other sister, you know. But she came up with like a really awesome concoctions, and her hair, she got her hair pretty long, my mom, and so she's a hardcore 4C, like she said.
I'm gonna be talking to your mom after this interview, like, believe me. Yeah, because natural stuff. Yeah, so 4C, you guys, is like there's a scale. So what is it, like 1A being the straightest to 4C being the tightest. So I'm like on the tightest end of the scale. So then you have like 1A, 1B, 1C, right? Then you have 2A, 2B, 2C, 3A, 3B, 3C, and then it's 4A, 4B, 4C. So I'm at the like probably the tightest end of the scale, where like a Chinese person would be like a 4A.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then just so they can get an idea. Yeah. You guys can probably look at. I know. We're talking. They're probably like, white people are like, what do they mean? What is this 4A stuff? And so like, if you're a white person, you have like wavy hair, you're probably like a 2A or something like that.
Yeah.
Or some. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you can actually probably Google. Let me see if I can put a link to the hair scale. I don't know if it's called hair scale or hair. It's kind of.
Yeah. I don't know.
So you can figure out like what. Do you ever watch Chime Edwards' channel? I haven't watched her in a long time. She's my hair crush. She's a 4B, I think. Her hair's a little less tighter than mine, but her hair is beautiful. Like,
I love watching natural hair videos.
Do you watch My Natural Sisters? I watch them. I watch Chime Edwards, and then I watch there are a couple of other people. It's Taryn, but her hair, she has nice hair, but her hair is like looser than mine, so I don't really feel like I try and watch people that have my same hair texture.
Me and my mom, she's always like, I can't watch those videos with those girls with the baby hair. She's like, I can't do that. She's like, I don't even watch those videos. That's funny.
Yeah, because it would just not, I mean, you're like, your hair looks cool and you have good ideas, but you're not helping me because my hair texture is a little bit, you know? Yeah. And it was funny because I was in Trader Joe's a few years ago, and I was talking to, so we were talking about being natural, and this white lady comes up. She's like, oh my God, and She was talking about, I was like, you have hair insecurities too, but she's a white girl. She had really tightly curly hair. And she was like, girl, I just went natural too. I was like, really? Like, well, you're white. Like, what's going on? She was like, but I never thought about non-black people also having insecurities about their hair as well, and wanting to straighten their hair and feeling they need to straighten their hair and all this stuff too. And I was like, oh, I never thought about that. I was like, all right, come here, sister, you one of us. It's okay, it's all right, you know. So, yeah, it's fascinating though, and it definitely is a healthier choice. I feel freer, you know.
Yeah.
I think I want to make a video about it too, just talking about just how empowered I feel by being natural.
You should totally do it. That'd be awesome.
Well, my friend Natalie, I have 3 friends that are natural too. Like Natalie, gorgeous hair. One of my best friends, Narciso, he's black. He has a big old afro. Yeah. Another one of my friends, Ngozi, she just had a short little hair. Like her is shorter than mine, but like she just buzzed it, and she just has a face though. She can like pull it off, you know. Like she's great, just like really nice features, nice cheeks, lips, and everything. She's just like, you know. So I mean, I have to say my cousin also has sister locks, so I have people that to definitely look up to in my real life too. But for a while, I didn't want to do it, you know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I just went. I was trying to do the thing, you know, where you like what am I trying to say? You with the transition, I guess. Did you transition or did you just cut your hair?
Yeah, I know. I was not doing a big chop. I was like, I'm just gonna transition.
I did a big chop. I did it myself. I went crazy, girl, because my hair. Look how the hair my thick. So thick it is. So you have this, and there's the demarcation line from the point where your hair is really tight to where your hair is straight, right? So when my new growth would come in, I would try and like press the new growth and then just do that. Yeah. But my hair is so thick that I would have to literally comb my hair like this to keep my hair from breaking. And it would just take so long, and my arms would be so sore that just one day I just went and just cut all my hair. And I started in the middle so I wouldn't chicken out and be like, oh, I'm not going to do it. So I just cut in the middle. And my mom was like, what are you doing? And I was just like, fuck this, I can't take it anymore. And I mean, like, my hair's, if I stretch my hair out, it's down to my shoulders. But, like, my hair was, like, this thick. And when I do, like, the afro frohawk and stuff, I pull it up. So my hair is very stretchy.
I love it.
But, like, but with that time, my hair was, like, this thick. And I worked at an Asian prep school. I was a teacher there. And I walked in one day, and people were just, like looking at me. And then I had one of my students, she was like, she's actually one of my favorite students, but she just had a smart mouth on her. She was like 7. She was like Vietnamese and Chinese. And she was like, I don't know what you're trying to do, but it looks like you have a dead teddy bear on your head.
Oh my gosh.
But you know, kids, like, you can't get mad at, like, you know, she's a comedian and she thought, you know. But then, you know what, later, after she got used to it, she actually came back. She was like, I didn't understand what you were trying to do with your hair, but she goes, I can get used to it. I think that it's cool now. You know?
Yeah.
I was like, thanks.
I love your hair. I love it. I like the that poofy style with the I guess it's like a fro poofy fro or something. I mean, like a mohawk fro.
You guys didn't know this was going to be about fashion and hair. You didn't know. It's a surprise, guys. No, I just do rubber bands. I just basically go like that and just rubber band it, but I have to do it when my hair is wet because it's more pliable. And then it's easy. It takes like 10 minutes at the most to do. Yeah. I just wet it, and then I'm like boom, 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 bam, and I kind of brush the edges, and I'm good, you know.
It works.
Yeah. So the hair conspiracy, we got all that out. Hopefully, some people learned some stuff today about hair and black hair. You know. But yeah, so you noticed, like, you kind of noticed that too. You know what it is? You're talking about, like, so you're noticing the hair, kind of like the hair conspiracy, or or how we've been lied to about that. Because I mean, not to sound paranoid, but we've been lied to about pretty much everything. So now, if somebody says something, I'm going to be skeptical and I'm going to look into it myself. Yeah. So I think with the hair thing too, I'm guessing it probably just opened up your mind to be an explorer and to figure things out yourself and not just take what you're being told as word, or what am I trying to say? But you know what I mean. You're just gonna, you're like, oh, okay, I'll look into myself instead of being like,
exactly,
you know.
I know. I feel like that with the vaccine thing and stuff. Like people get mad about it, and I'm just like, well, you know, I feel like I don't really consider myself like a pro-vaxxer or anti-vaxxer, but I just feel like I'm just pro-research. Just look it up, you know, just look it up and decide for yourself. And so, I'm all about looking stuff up now.
Well, just like about the hair stuff, because, I mean, just in the Black community, we're just programmed like that's what you do. You slap a perm on your hair when you're 5 as soon as you can. You brush your hair. You hide your hair. You do, like, you know, and then the whole good hair, bad thing, we don't really think about it. We just do it, you know. We don't think about the repercussions. Same things with vaccines. From the moment we are, you know, kids, we are brainwashed. Now that I've been going back and looking at the propaganda just with that, like from Sesame Street. Sesame Street is one of the first programs that I have any recollection of watching. But now going back and like Elmo's getting vaccinated and Big Bird's getting vaccinated, and Oscar's suspicious of the vaccines, and they like make fun of him and shit because he's just like, you know what I mean? He's like, oh no, I'm gonna be in my can. I don't trust those things, and they're just, you're just a grouch, Oscar. Stop being such a grouch.
Yeah.
You know, but Oscar's right, man. Oscar's like,
I know.
He's like, he's like the old school conspiracy theorist with the tin. He doesn't have a temple hat. He has a tin can hat with the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so like, you know, so they're brainwashing kids in an early age, and then I've gone back and I've looked at, I was in a group and on Facebook, and people would find stuff. It's anywhere from like Barbar. Do you ever read those books, Barbar the Elephant?
Yeah, I remember.
There's one of his books where he's getting vaccines. You know, like so it's.
My God.
They're like go to the doctor, Barbar, and get your vaccines. And Barbar, like, you know, they're like, fuck this shit. Like, you know, he's all scared and shit, and then he finally like sees the light and gets his vaccine. But you know, I think what else? Oh, the Teletubbies. The Teletubbies. Like, have you seen that one? They had a whole song, and it always revolves around a character, like knowing that the vaccines are bullshit. But they end up converting them to the cult of getting vaccinated, right? So I guess one of the characters is they're like, hey, it's Vaccines Day, and they're like, like I don't want to get a vaccine. They're like, don't be scared. You gotta like toughen up and step up the upper lip and get your vaccine, and you know, and then they'll like sing a song and some shit, and then it's okay, you know. But, you know, they don't realize the damage that they do, and I'm probably going to lose some subscribers from talking about vaccines on this video, but I don't care. Because, I mean, I swear, that's like one of the most controversial things like ever. Like, you can't even talk about it. You can't even raise the question that they're wrong. And it's even like maybe just say for the sake of argument that they did save lives. They did cure polio, which I don't think, now I think there's evidence to show that it was sanitation and environment and other things that did that, not vaccines. But I digress. I am digressing. But even if you want to use that argument, you can't deny the injury, the amount of suffering that they're causing today. To people too. So it's like this holy grail that it's become this religion that people can't even, you know, you can't even question. You can't even. And I've known some doctors that have been critical of vaccine, and they'll still be like, I'm pro-vaccine, I'm not anti-vaccine, but they're automatically just put in that anti-vaccine camp because they're critical of you know, they're like, hey, I think there may be a problem with this adjuvant or with this, the fact that we grow it on these cells and not these cells, and maybe we can fix it this way, and they're still like, anti-vaxxer, you know, you must be shunned. I'm like, damn, it's like the left, you know?
Yeah. You know how I look at it now? Like, I feel like I don't really, like, talk to a lot of people about it because there's just not a lot of people where I live to talk about it with, but, I look at it like this, like, I've had a lot of experience, like, being in the doctor's office and getting prescribed medicine, surgeries, like, all this stuff. And I think what a lot of people don't realize is that they make mistakes. And
they deify doctors.
Yeah, they make mistakes. And, like, I know a lot of, you know, they say, well, all the studies say this, all the studies say that.
God.
Well, I remember...
Yeah, and they never read the study.
Yeah,
They never
yeah.
read the
They're like,
studies.
yeah,
They had heard that there was a study somewhere.
yeah,
But they never like
yeah.
read the study. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they'll be like, what, are you smarter than a doctor? But you have to understand, like, Vioxx. Do you remember Vioxx?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
this was like
I've
the
talked
late
about
90s.
it.
Yeah. Yeah, like people were dying. Like, I'm sure there was a point where people were like, well, the doctor said it was okay. Well, yeah, but I mean, eventually they realized it wasn't okay. I'm sure there were people who were suspicious that it wasn't okay and were like, no, I don't want to do that, but but people were like, well, the doctor said it's okay. Well, years later, it turns out it wasn't okay.
Yeah.
So how can you just assume that, yeah, vaccines are completely okay as if they never make mistakes?
Well, let me explain this a little bit. Let me tell them about Vioxx. So Vioxx was a medication that was supposed to be described for heart attacks, right, to prevent heart attacks. Yes?
Yeah,
okay. So to prevent heart attacks. But they later found out that actually Vioxx was causing heart attacks.
Yeah.
There were doctors and scientists that found out that this was the case, and they actually came out to speak out about it, that they're like, oh, this is actually causing heart attacks. Later, before it was found to be true and they took it off the market, there were actually emails that were found that from the higher ups in the pharmaceutical industry saying that if you can't destroy these doctors' careers for speaking out about Vioxx, then you need to basically kill them. So it was either like, you know about the emails, the Vioxx emails?
No, I didn't know that
Yeah,
part.
it was like, I'm paraphrasing, but it was something like, if you can't destroy their careers, hunt them out and seek them where they live, basically.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so it's not just Vioxx. You know about thalidomide?
Is that like the what they put in vaccines or no?
No, so 70s, it was like it was a pill for morning sickness, to help women with morning sickness that were pregnant.
Oh, okay.
And they end up having deformed babies because of it.
Oh no! Oh my gosh!
So then there's the Cutter incident, where actually it was supposed to be a vaccine for polio, but it actually ended up giving people polio. 40,000 people got polio from the vaccine. Then there was the 1976 swine flu incident, where people they're like, it was advertised that, oh, this flu's coming, everybody better get your vaccine. Thousands of people got injured from the vaccine. The flu, there was no flu epidemic. Then there's the H1N1 scandal in Europe, where they found out that they were putting what am I trying to say? They were actually, it was actually causing people to get H1N1 from the vaccine.
Oh yeah.
Then there was girl, I will go on. Like, don't stop me.
Yeah.
Or stop me. Because you're just like, oh, there's Vioxx. I'm like, girl, there's Vioxx times 20.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just Vioxx. This is always a case. Chemotherapy kills people. It kills. There was a guy who was, I need to write this down because I know people are going to be like, that's not true. But I'm like, no, you need to look this up. There's a guy, I forgot his name, who was a doctor who was misdiagnosing patients with cancer and prescribing them chemotherapy, and they died. They died from the chemotherapy, okay? So not only was this doctor lying, but if the cancer kills you and the chemotherapy was safe, how come patients that he was prescribing chemotherapy that didn't have cancer still die? Because the chemotherapy killed them. You know? So, I mean, the first serial killer in American history document was a fucking doctor. Do you know about this? H.H. Holmes. H.H. Holmes. H.H. Holmes was he went to medical school, became a doctor, bought a hotel. He would hire a contractor to build secret passageways, and he'd have them build half of it, and then he'd fire that contractor, then he'd hire another one and have them build the rest, and then fire that one, until he had secret passageways all throughout his hotel, so nobody knew where they led or how it was finished, right?
Yeah.
So basically, he would get his victims through the hotel, and basically have travelers stay, and he'd kidnap them, or like, they'd be in their bed and they could open up the wall, and like, he'd have a layer down where he like torture them and dismember them and stuff, and he would sell the bodies back to the medical school.
What the heck?
Yeah, so I'm just saying that the fact that people deify doctors and deify the medical industry is the reason that we're in this mess in the first place. So, like, people don't think that there's psychopaths and murderers in the medical industry. That
Right,
scientists
yeah.
don't want to be fame whores, just like there are people that want to be fame whores and entertainers, but they think that they're all in Hollywood. But a lot of them are scientists and doctors. They'll sell their souls out. They'll manipulate data for companies to get their ideas out there, or to get to promote an agenda. And to think that scientists and doctors are just wholesome people just because they're scientists or doctors is extremely naive, and it's extremely dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is why. Yeah. So sorry, I went on a girl. You didn't get me started.
No, I've seen it myself. I mean, I've actually been burned because of it, and I was given a drug where at the time they said it was okay to take. There's nothing wrong with it. Fast forward 15 years later, now it's a scheduled drug, and it's
Schedule 1.
Yeah, I think it might be whatever. It's like this, similar to what do you call it?
Is it a black box drug?
It's not. I don't think it's as high as hydrocodone, but it's like scheduled now, like as a drug, where you need like it's regulated now. But when I first was prescribed it, they said it was not addicting. People were becoming addicted to it, though. Okay,
yeah. They were just giving it out like candy.
Yeah,
basically.
and so now, 15 years later, and so if I were to say, oh, well, I stopped taking it, and I wasn't okay when I stopped taking it, people will be like, well, the doctor says fine. Well, but I know what just happened to me, and so so now, 15 years later, it's probably like 12, 13, maybe 14 years later since I first was prescribed it, and it is considered addicting now. And so it's just like, okay, you have to, they're still humans, but even still, they don't know everything. They don't know, they haven't experienced everything.
Well, they also, I'm getting feedback. They also read and regurgitate information. Suicide,
Right, yeah.
Depression pills cause suicide. Cause depression pills. Anti-seizure medication causes seizures.
Yeah.
I read this in an epileptic journal talking about, and they're just like, well, we know that anti-seizure medication causes seizures, and this is a phenomenon. I mean, we don't really know why that happens. I'm just like, you guys are fucking stupid. I don't even, I mean, I'm not anti-doctor, like a friend accused me of being anti-doctor. Well, I think they're good for trauma, and that's it.
Right,
I won't
that's
go for
disease.
Disease, if I break my arm, if I get shot in a drive-by, if I'm crushed by a robot, I'm going to go to the hospital, and I'm not going to go to Babaluka, the medicine woman. But, but I'm like, you know what I mean? But I and there are people that, when I tell them I go to acupuncturists and herbalists, and I've had so much more success with my health by doing that. There's some people that get offended, and I'm like, well, I'm not, I'm not trying to be offensive, but y'all don't know shit when it comes to, comes to autoimmune issues or diseases or cancer or AIDS or none of that shit. I'm not going to. I'm sorry. I want to get better, but there are people that will still cave into the pressure of going to the doctor because people will make them feel stupid, and they think that they don't have the right to this information because they're not a doctor. I've even had people be like, oh, well, you can't read that study. You're not a doctor. I was like, what do you mean I can't read? Are you trying to say I can't read?
Yeah.
So there are people that think that you have, by the way, guys, any of the shit that doctors know, you have the right to know. It's public information. The only thing you don't have the right to do is act as a doctor, technically give them medical advice, or operate on them. But you can still get some of the books that the doctors use in medical school and learn about the human body yourself. You can read studies yourself. You can watch other doctors' lectures that they give to other doctors on YouTube or social media to get a deeper understanding of things. You have a right to this information,
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I want to mention this. My uncle is actually a doctor. He's a family practice, general practitioner. And he doesn't prescribe medicine to anyone in our family, and he is against all that stuff, vaccines, everything. And so a lot of people, they'll be like, well, why should I listen to you? You're not a doctor or whatever. Well, I have a doctor in my family, and he says the same thing. He's not down with that.
I'm so over that shit. That gets so mad. I'm like, okay, well, you know what? I know 4 people that survive cancer naturally on this side. I have a doctor that's an oncologist whose patients always die of cancer. So I think even though they're not doctors, I'm actually going to go with the people that have cured their disease without medicine, if that's okay. Yeah. I'm going to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So my uncle, he's like, he actually has a health food store in his office. Like, he has his practice, and then downstairs is a health food store. So he gives the patients like,
Good for him.
Oh, you said good. Yeah. He's totally like all about being natural, and like, he gives them an option. Like, he'll tell them, okay, you can take these supplements. This will help. I can prescribe you something, but I really think you should take the supplements, you know? And so I guess since he's a doctor, people don't have a problem with him suggesting supplements. But like, if my mom were to suggest supplements, they're like, now, you know?
Well, but, I'm just like, you know, and those people are going to suffer, and too bad for them. I'm sorry. I'm just at the point where I'm over it. Like, people know where I stand. People know where I stand on this. And I do actually have people that come to me for advice. For certain things. I helped my mom with her. She was dependent on laxatives, but I helped her, and all I did was just like lay off the white flour, sugar, and drink more green smoothies. But boom, bada bam. Really easy, you know? And she's like, oh my God, it works.
I was in the hospital one time, and I had surgery, so they gave me a lot of pain medicine, and they were like, you haven't gone to the bathroom in a while because of the medicine. And I was like, okay, yeah, fine. And so this lady nurse came in. She's like, I'm going to give you an enema. And I was like, no. And then she was like, well, you have to go to the bathroom, so we're going to have to give you something like a drug, like some kind of drug or something. And I was like, well, my mom, she has like, herbs or supplements. Can she just bring it up to the hospital and I can just take it? And she's like, no. And I was like, what? She said that it had to be like some kind of like something from the hospital, like a whatever they have, it had to be that. Like, my mom couldn't just drive up and give me herbs, And I was just like, what the? That doesn't even make sense.
Well, I know. Well, I mean, they just think that that's witchcraft, probably, that you're a witch or something. You know what I mean? Like, could you just pretend to take the medicine and then have your mom visit you later and just bring them to you anyway?
Is that what she did? Yeah. But I just was surprised that she said it out loud, like that she actually said, well, no, you can't take natural things. It has to be something that's like from the hospital, like. And so I just thought that I was like, wow, I'm surprised you actually said that. And that
they have the nerves
to take the chemicals. We want you to take the drugs, even if there's another option.
Well, because to them it's not chemicals, it's witchcraft, really. That's what the doctors and nurses, a lot of nurses, are trained to believe, that it's woo-woo, it doesn't work. Doctors aren't talking about nutrition in medical school. The doctors that are MDs that have been speaking out against like vaccines and other alternative, or speaking in support of other alternative forms of health, like they always say, they're like, we only get 10 hours of nutrition. The pharmaceutical industries fund the medical school. Fund the medical schools, or influence them in some way. So or people that are heavily in bed or tied to the pharmaceutical industry support the medical schools. So they're taught to only have this tunnel vision way of thinking, and then discard everything else that isn't that. And honestly, they see it as evolution. I see it as devolution. That we're actually devolving, because people will argue and say that, we're living longer. Yeah, but we're having also, that we used to. But that has to do with the fact that we are, we have sanitation, and we have nutrition, and we have heat and air conditioning in certain places where, people may have died, of heat stroke, or they have froze to death in the winter, and we have, that type of technology is keeping us alive longer. But we also have, we're living a bad quality of life with all these autoimmune diseases. So where it's making us dependent on these medications. We interviewed a lady from, there are more now, but when we interviewed her, there weren't as many speaking out. But pharmaceutical rep named Gwen Olsen, have you heard of her?
Yeah.
You heard of her, the blind lady? Yeah, we interviewed her, and she said that she would go into meetings, and she would say that, like, I should put that in that she would go to the meetings, and they would basically say that they want the whole entire planet dependent on at least 2 medications. That was like their goal. Oh no, you froze. Okay, you back? I didn't hear what you said. You froze for a minute.
Oh my gosh. Wow, that makes sense to me. Yeah.
Yeah, but she said that. It's crazy. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, you're back. Yeah, so and there are other now since then there are other.
I was saying that makes sense.
The DA, do you know you're in Texas, but you're not San Antonio, what's his face? God, he is fine. He is hot. I can't think of his name. I know, he's married though. I respect that, but when I saw him I was like, damn. He's I can't think of his name. He's the DA of San Antonio, the district attorney. And he came out. He was in one of the Vaxxed videos. I'm gonna put that in the links too, because I think that this would be interesting. It's a short interview, but he was basically came out, said that vaccines cause his son's autism and his daughter's what do you call that when you're eczema? Eczema? Oh yeah,
eczema. Yeah.
And he said that he has a friend that works for Merck Pharmaceuticals who actually manufactures vaccines, and he doesn't vaccinate any of his kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and the thing too that people don't want you to realize is when they're talking about these anti-vaxxers and people don't vaccinate, it's the people that work for the companies. It's the people that work for these. Yeah. There was this article that Google, it was like shockingly low in vaccine rates in Google in Silicon Valley or something like that. And it was a lot of these people that worked at in Silicon Valley at these tech firms and stuff that didn't vaccinate their kids.
Oh my God.
So a lot of these people are scientists and doctors and people that don't, that are higher ups, and they make it sound like it's just stupid people that are uneducated. Yeah. A lot of the big secret is a lot of the people that don't vaccinate their kids are usually highly educated, like with masters and PhDs, not even like a BA or a BS, but higher up.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
That's crazy. And it kind of reminds me of Democrats. All the Democrats that put their kids in private school. I always think it's crazy. I'm like, you guys want to put us in public school. You want to make us
exactly.
Go,
Yeah, like Bill Gates wants to talk about how he, in college now, he wants to put, education is so important to me. I was like, motherfucker, you don't go to school. You finish. They just want to train us. I was a teacher for a while. Also, just kind of observing this, I feel they want to train us to be cogs. They don't want competition. They want to keep people stunted at a certain rate. They don't teach stuff like mnemonics in school, which is free. They don't teach stuff like photo reading. They don't teach certain things that could really accelerate and expand the minds of the common folk. Yeah. But that will it would probably lead to people wanting to be more entrepreneurs or inventors, and they don't want that competition.
Yeah. My sister, she actually did a report. She's homeschooled, but she did a program, Monarch it's called, and it's online homeschool. And they had her write an article, and it was a Christian homeschool, and so they usually teach stuff that you don't learn in regular school. And so she was the paper was about, I think it was Rothschild, one of the Rothschild, and they paid a whole bunch of money into the public school system. And they purposely paid for it to be dumbed down, because they wanted just basically a bunch of blue collar type workers.
Could you send me that paper?
Yeah,
I want that paper. Yeah. There's I know he has that quote saying that he wants a nation of workers and not thinkers. So that should tell you that, and then his actions are proving what he's saying.
It's ridiculous. He put so much money into basically keeping us stupid. Keeping us only subpar type workers. And I remember one of my friends, she's a teacher, and my son, he's kindergarten this year. He started kindergarten, and right before he started, she was trying to convince me to put him in public school, and I was just like, what? No, why would you say that? I just don't I just feel like they don't teach everything I've learned, things that we should have. I remember learning about Planned Parenthood. I remember learning about Margaret Sanger. How in the world could you teach us about that and not tell us that she was trying to kill black babies? I don't understand that.
Yeah.
It doesn't, there's really important things they're not teaching. And my sisters, they learned about it. They learned about communism and the Bolshevik War. I don't even know how to say it. But
Bolshevik Revolution.
Yeah, yeah. And like I was like, what? I never heard this. That seems huge. That seems like something you should teach in school, you know?
Wait,
And
so
it's just like, hmm?
was your sister homeschooled?
Yeah, yeah, both of them. Mm-hmm.
You weren't, but
I
you weren't
wasn't.
homeschooled.
I wasn't. No,
Uh,
because we have a big age gap. So when they were born, I was finishing school. My brother and I, we were both went to public school. So my mom decided to homeschool after I was out of
oh,
school.
so
I
she's
wish she had a
younger.
home. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We have like a big age gap, like 14 years and 16
Oh,
years.
oh wow, okay.
Yeah, yeah. And so yeah, they like everything I see that they learned, things that I just it doesn't make sense to me. Why to me it seems like you're purposely trying to stop us from knowing these things because
Yeah.
it just doesn't make sense to me. Like the I think and in fact that's one of the things I know you were saying like with the vaccines, that's something you get attacked about a lot. Well, I noticed that I get attacked a lot for talking about Margaret Sanger, like from black people. Like black people, they're just like
Yeah.
mad because whenever I talk about it, because I was just like, well, how can you guys be so angry about racism and slavery and the guy unarmed black men getting shot and not be mad about 80% of the Planned Parenthoods being put in your neighborhoods? Why aren't you protesting that? I don't understand. And they just don't
Because
even
they think
know.
that white racism only comes in a white robe and a burning cross. That's their
Yeah.
image of racism.
Mhm.
They don't think about the more sophisticated forms of racism, or actually the more dangerous forms of racism.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know,
They
where
were sterilizing black women. Like that's huge. Like you guys should be protesting to get them things out of your neighborhood. Like if you want to get an abortion, fine, but you should have a problem with the fact that that woman put so many in your neighborhood. That ugh,
yeah, I
that's a whole nother thing.
know. You can go off. You want to say
But
more
yeah,
about that? That's fine. I don't care. I talked a lot anyway. It's
yeah,
fine. Like, no, I mean, I totally agree with you. But think about this too. Like with school, how many hours a day, right? Are you away from your kid, right? So think about, you get up in the morning. How many hours do you have with your child before school in the morning?
yeah. Not a lot.
No, how, like
Like
it's 2 hours or so? What, a couple hours? Like how many hours do you get
oh
up before school starts?
oh well, he's homeschooled, so
Oh,
he's
okay.
always with me.
Okay.
Yeah,
But, okay, so what the average, I don't know, say school starts at 8, you get up at 6,
yeah,
maybe a little earlier.
yeah.
But still, you're not really having time to engage with your child or whatever. You're just getting ready for school. You're both are tired. You go to work. I'm just saying,
Mhm.
hypothetically, you
Yeah.
go to work. Your child goes to school
Mhm.
for 8 hours a day, and then they
Mhm.
come home, do their homework, go to bed. Same
Yeah.
thing, 5 days a week. So they
Mhm.
basically have your child's mind for, you know, lots and lots of
Like
hours, more than
yeah,
you
like six
have.
to 8 hours. That's like a
Yeah,
long time.
more than you have. They have more time to mold your child more than you have. I have
Yeah.
children. I'm definitely homeschooling them. April, that runs this channel with me, she's one of the reasons why she's not as active in making videos and stuff anymore. She's homeschooling her kids. She has 3 kids.
Oh,
She's
that's awesome.
Yeah, she's
I love
homeschooling her
it.
kids, and it's interesting because people have this whole prejudice against homeschoolers that
Mhm.
they're stupid or they're secluded, and in some
Mhm.
cases I think that's true, but now there's so many options, and there are homeschooling groups that you can
Yeah.
she goes with other homeschooling groups like
Mhm.
to have outings with, so her children can meet other people to play with, and
Yeah.
she also
Yeah.
has them do extracurricular activities outside, like at the college center or the community center, where they can
Yeah.
make friends and have a social life, because I think that's a
Mhm.
lot of concern with people. But
Mhm.
this whole thing too, the whole system, the whole school system, back in the day, I don't know how long ago, but when there was a school too, they had the system where the older kids and the younger kids would pretty much be in the same classroom, and it was
Yeah.
it was a good system because the older kids would kind of mentor the younger kids, and that would help them
Yeah.
kind of get a deeper understanding of
Mhm.
what they were learning. But
Mhm.
now, I mean, yeah, dude, just being a teacher and seeing the curriculum and now
Yeah.
understanding that, like,
Yeah, you're a teacher. Are you still a teacher?
I freelance. I worked with a company in China online for a while, teaching kids English, and now
Right.
I freelance every once in a while. I do adult tutoring. I do TEFL, the
Okay.
IELTS a little bit here and
Mhm.
there, but not really regularly. I wanted to get out of the system. honestly, because I felt guilty. I felt like I was being a part of brainwashing kids.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. So
Yeah.
is that why your friend, is that why she homeschools? Because of, I guess, a similar reason? Like
well, that and also she's in California, so the vaccine laws are crazy there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
oh my
I think
goodness.
that was the main thing that pushed her to do it. But yeah. So she's lucky she has a husband and she has extra help from her parents and stuff to make it possible, because it's not possible for everybody, to do that because of work. But I wish more people would, and I think a lot of people can do it, but they just feel like they can't. They've been brainwashed to believe that they can't, or it's a bad thing, or that they're depriving their child from a social life. And in honesty, every homeschool person that I've met as an adult has been like super intelligent and way beyond.
Yeah, my sisters, like, people always say they love talking to them because they're just not the typical, like, teenagers, like, concerned about, like, I guess typical, like maybe shallow type things, like, boys or whatever. And so, yeah, they can have some.
Hey, boys aren't shallow. I like boys. I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's I mean, I think all the like, they're friends, they're good kids. Like, I don't know, they never seem weird to me. Like, when I meet homeschool kids, they seem great. Like, they seem nicer to me. And
yeah, so. that's what April said. She said that, like, she feels like the other homeschool kids are just more polite, they're more respectful.
Yeah,
they're better conversationalists. As opposed to just kids that aren't.
Yeah, it's like they're used to being around a lot of kids, and they just kind of talk on like maybe a kid level or something. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I noticed that too.
Well, they're also probably not into the social media and stuff. I'm just guessing, right? They're not living their life on Twitter or social media or any of that stuff.
Yeah, because they have social media, but it's not like I imagine kids in high school and stuff, it's probably like all they're doing, like probably like half the day or more, is looking at their social media accounts and looking at their friends and stuff like that. And so, yeah, I think they do, like, they're not as into it, I mean, they're into it, but they're not just like overly like.
Yeah, there's some people that are just like, they're addicted to it. You take their phone away and they'll try and stab you. Like, I had a kid, like, seriously, I one of my friends' kids, he was really a nice kid, but he was so addicted to his iPad that, like, if you took it away from him, like, he would act like you were trying to kill him, and then he would get defensive and just be like, have you ever seen that video? There was a viral video that went around where somebody took the iPad from their kid, and the kid was like, I'm gonna kill you, fuck you. Like, he was possessed by the devil. Yeah, that's how my friend's kid was. A lot of kids are like it's like they're like getting off of heroin or something like that. It was crazy. So he was a nice kid until you took his iPad. He would temper tantrum. He would like roll on the floor and cry and throw stuff and kick things and like, So
too much.
Yeah, I mean, I had a student in my class when I taught this prep school, and his parents wouldn't let him have a cell phone, and the kids are making fun of him. And I was like, I wouldn't let my kid have a cell phone at 10. I'm like, are you kidding me?
No.
You're like, you're not getting a cell phone. Like, no, I was like, good for him. And you know what? He was one of the most imaginative and creative students in the class as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I wonder if it had any bearing on the fact that his parents didn't really let him get involved in social media as much. He had to use his imagination. And I mean, I love that little boy. Him and his best friend, like, they were just the cutest little kids. I was like, can I adopt you? They're adorable. I liked a lot of my kids. I like being a teacher. That's cool. I like the kids. For me, was always the best part of the job. It was just the system, and the pay isn't enough, of course. But I was willing to forgo that for a while, just because I just liked teaching. But the kids, they were great. But the system, and just like, and I thought it would be better in Asia, but it's worse actually.
Really?
Yeah, just because.
How so?
Well, I think when I was a long-term sub for LAUSD for 8 years, and I was considering getting my credential, and I had a relationship with a few schools, because the way I really made my money, I taught special ed a lot, and I also would do either that or long-term kindergarten, you know, when a teacher would go away or the teacher would quit and they need a long-term. I would do that, and I rotated between like 2 or 3 schools, and I pretty much worked every day, so I made pretty good money. I made more money, probably as much money or as more money than a teacher, because yeah, because I was making like $168 a day when I left for 6 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty good, right?
Good.
Yeah, but the fact where I was able to make that much, I would start at 150, and through the years I got like a raise a little bit each time. But I hustled, and I was able to keep my connections up. So because I was working every day, like all that money like added up. So it was pretty good. But long story short, the inner city schools, the South Central schools, whatever, they didn't really have a lot of resources. Their books are bad. A lot of the kids are more so worried about like trying to survive in an environment. Yeah. You know, as opposed to like if you're trying to worry about like surviving, you're not going to be focused on studying. That's just, you know. Yeah. So it was like that factor. But then on the other end, where I worked in like a Chinese prep school. A lot of the kids were like, they had the community support and their neighborhoods were safe and they had the resources, but they sacrificed so much of their study time that they lost their being and their soul.
Yeah. Okay,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they became robotic in a sense where they just didn't, you know, they would go to regular school. Then after regular school, they would go to extra school for like 2-3 hours. Then after that, either they were taking an instrument or doing some kind of like, you know, extracurricular activity. And then on Saturday they went to Chinese school. So it's so Sunday was like the day that they slept. But you know, they're studying for the SAT from the time they're like 12, 13 years old. So they figured out how to wing the system. And the thing that pissed me off, my kids would work so hard, and you know they would get points taken off their SATs because they're Asian. So that kind of pissed me off too. I'm like, well, they're like, oh, it's not fair because Asians get so like Asians aren't smart because they're Asian. Asians are smart because a lot of people I've seen like. I haven't seen the whole race IQ thing that Stefan Molyneux's done. I've seen like snippets of it, but I've heard him say, well, Asians are this. I was like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Not because they're Asian. It's because of the community and the environment and their culture and the group thing. But see, they have a lot of group think, which I don't like. They don't question things. They're just question authority. So one thing I didn't like about living in Taiwan, they never questioned anything. They always thought the government had their best interest in mind, and they're kind of super intelligent but very naive in that sense. So I really didn't. I didn't like that. And even in America, the Asian community, from my experience, was like that. But they just, so my kids would get points taken off their SATs, and I was livid because they're working their ass off. I don't care what race you are. If you work your ass off, you deserve it. I don't care. Like, why are you taking points away from these kids? You know. But see, they don't want to. They don't want to like fix the inner city issues, you know, and make it easier, make the environment safer. There's so much they're gonna have to fix on the inner city level that they think it's gonna be easier to. They think it's just easier to give them a pass, but it doesn't work like that.
No, you know? Not at all. I don't understand. I can't stand the whole education thing. Like, that's something that I feel like I always talk about. And I just have a huge beef with it. And Larry Elder, he talks about it a lot, and it's just he just makes good points. Like, he was just, you know, he went to what's that, Crenshaw or something? The one where Boys to Men, not Boys to Men.
Boys in the Hood. You went to Crenshaw? You went to Crenshaw High? He's from LA? I didn't know that.
Yeah. He did, and he said that like the school, he said like only 3% of the people were passing or something. Like, it's just awful. And he was just like, why does the left keep voting school vouchers down? Like, why would you force a kid to go to a school like that? And so
because they don't want them in their neighborhoods.
Which is exactly
like the same people that want open borders. They're not going to let the immigrants live in their neighborhoods, you know. As a teacher, like, I have friends that as a person in LA, I have friends that are illegal and that do work their ass off and do. I don't have an issue with them staying in this country. Like, and
Yeah.
I mean, the people I know, I'm saying I'm vouching for, so I don't think all immigrants are like this, but it's also,
Yeah.
you know, as a teacher, it was really stressful to be in a classroom environment where a lot of the kids don't speak English, and that also
Yeah.
holds people. It slows things down. I speak Spanish, so it wasn't a big deal for me, but you know, for a lot of people, for the students involved, for the teachers that don't speak Spanish, it's a huge barrier. It's a huge stressor in the environment, in an already violent environment that doesn't have resources, that you're supposed to, you know, have kids test scores a certain way, and then on top of that, like, you can't even communicate with like half the kids. It's terrible, you know.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I don't like that either.
you know, people don't want to talk about that. You know, they just want to. But see, the people that are preaching for open borders and this and that, they're not having to deal with that. Their kids aren't being slowed down because of this process. They're not going to be affected. Their neighborhoods, they're not bringing like gangs across the border into Beverly Hills and Bel Air and all these places, you know, in California where people are voting for this. They're not affected by it. They're not directly affected by it. So it just makes me so mad when people want to, like, you know, like, rally for this, but they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah. I think it's not. I feel like they make it really easy for someone to not even really learn English too, and it's almost like it's racist to say like, oh, well, they should learn English, but I don't think it's racist. I think that it's just what helped them. It'd be easy.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, I didn't. only job I can get living overseas when I was there was being an English teacher. But if I want another job, I would have to learn Chinese. Like, they're not gonna fucking. And Taiwanese are super, super friendly and super nice, and they will try and accommodate you. But if I was trying to, like, get another job other than being an English teacher and didn't know Chinese, like, they would be like, "What the fuck? You better learn some Chinese." You know, like, I have a friend that's there, and he's white, and he's lived there for like 5 years, and I think after you live there for 5 years, you can get something that's equivalent to like a green card. And he speaks Chinese though. He speaks Chinese. He's not. I don't think he's a teacher anymore. Whatever he does, something else different. But he's not. You know what I mean? He's not trying to. But that it goes that way for any other country. I don't. You know. I don't understand the big deal why people want to, you know, say that Americans are racist for enforcing other laws that are already enforced in other countries, where they do the same thing. You know, they vet people. I had to go through a vetting process. I had to get a medical checkup. I had to get, you know, fingerprints and all this other shit to be able to work there, visa approval and everything. So
I mean, everyone that comes over here pretty much has to do it because we're connected to Canada and Mexico. So I feel like really the Mexicans, like, that are coming over illegally, they're only coming over because they're next door. But everyone else has to come in the right way. So I don't know why, you know, we should just allow them to have a free pass, but no one else does. Just because they're connected to us, I don't know.
Yeah. No, just because people are ignorant and we're too worried about being PC than too worried about being PC. No, what am I trying to say? They're too worried about looking good in virtual signaling than actually looking at the facts. And like I said, these people, if they were personally affected, they'd have more stake in it. But they, you know, but they're not. Until they are, they're not going to. You know, their ego's too hardened, and they don't really care. You know. Yeah. Until they're personally affected.
Did you see that? It was like in a school in New York. It was in like a really nice area, and they found out that they were gonna like bus kids from like the bad area over to their school, and like they had like a teacher parent thing, and the parents were like freaking out. They were so mad. And I'm sure, I mean,
is it on video?
Yeah, it's on video.
You need to send that to me because I want to see. Hold on, I'm gonna write teacher freak out.
Yeah, the parents were just like, oh my gosh, I'll write it down so I don't forget. But yeah, they were mad. Yeah, and so I'm just like, okay, this is New York, so I'm sure that probably most of the people, or at least half, were probably liberals, you know. And so I was just like, well, isn't that what you guys wanted? I thought you wanted us to, like, don't you love like the minorities or whatever, why don't you want them to go to your school? And so yeah, it's just,
No, we only want to look like we like the minorities.
Yeah,
but we don't really like
bring
them.
them over.
Huh?
Yeah. Yeah, they were like, don't bring them over here for real, though. Don't bring them here, bring them to someone else's school. And so, yeah, and it was a public school still, but I think it was just like in a really nice area. And so, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. It's they don't even. I feel like most of the things the problems that I have with the left, it's like the things that they complain about is what their issue is. It's like they like I was watching a video yesterday, and it was like some liberal politician, and he was like, well, I'm a white male, and so I have privilege and blah blah blah. And I was just like, if you keep saying that, it to me it makes it seem like you're bragging about it. Like, well, look at me, like I have privilege, like you don't, but you don't know anything about me. And so to me, I'm like, how does that make sense that you can just decide that your life is so much better than mine and you don't even know me?
Yeah, that's a good point.
And it's like they love to announce it too. I'm just like, why do you guys do that? Like, it's like, how like overweight girl, like I think I said this in my other video. Like if you have an overweight girl and like a thin girl, like if the thin girl was like constantly every time she went around, the big girl was like, oh well, my life is going good because I'm thin, or
I have thin privilege.
I'm thin. Yeah, like you'd be like, what the heck? Shut up, like what's your problem? But that's what they do. They're like, well, my life is good because I'm white, like look at me, I'm white, so duh, I have a good life, duh,
That's a really good point, because if you think about it that way, and you're just like, what? They're like, they're like, look at me in my nice car, in my nice neighborhood with all my money and everybody. I never get pulled over by the cops, and things are just great for me. And you're just like,
yeah, that doesn't make sense. Like to keep saying that, it's so. And they just don't even see how ridiculous it looks. I just think it looks ridiculous.
I just wonder how guys do guys like that ever get laid? Because to me, that's just such a turnoff. That's such a turnoff. Like, it's just such a pussy beta male thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I dated a guy like that, and it didn't work. It didn't last for long. We would fight every hour, because he was just so into that, and he was just so.
Yeah.
And he had the nerve to tell me. I was out overseas. We were fighting on Facebook, because for a while, we still stayed friends on Facebook. But I was like, yeah, he either unfriended me and blocked me, or I don't remember, vice versa. But he was telling me, he was like, he goes, I'm passing by Normandy and, I can't think of the name of the street. Florence and Normandy, the famous site where the LA riots started, and you don't even know the oppression is down here. I was like, fool, I was in the riots. You're fucking telling me, I was there, on lockdown under martial law when the riots were going on. So you're gonna fucking tell me I don't know? With his, just both of his parents were psychologists. He went to UCLA, got a master's in sociology, and he was always trying to throw that shit in my face. And I would never bow down to him. Like he'd be like, well, I have a master's in sociology from UCLA. I'd be like, so, so, and then I'd be like, well, obviously you didn't learn shit, so you need to get a refund. I'm so sorry you spent the time and money there to only become more dumb than you already are. But he was just too much, and I'm like, oh man,
unattractive. Yeah,
I mean,
it's
physically he was really hot. He was really cute, though. He was cute, but that's and when it didn't come to that stuff, he was fun. He was goofy and fun. I like to, I don't take myself seriously. I like to goof off and have fun.
Yeah.
And I actually think that his heart was in the right place, but he was just so clueless. He was just, I'm like, are you serious? Am I being punked?
Yeah.
Are you, what's wrong with you?
So was he black or white?
He was white. He was white guy.
He's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, that's super annoying.
But I just so? I was like, you're stupid. I didn't even care,
Yeah.
And he was, he was just retarded.
Yeah. Oh, that sucks. I don't like that. Yeah, I just think that a lot of people on the left is like that, and it's just, I don't know, doesn't make sense to me, but whatever.
Yeah, and it's you know, I was talking to a friend the other day. We were talking about like dating, and he was like, yeah, like this girl, like I met this girl, and I was like, oh, like what? He was like, yeah, she's pretty, but I'm like, he goes, I'm not really into it. And I was like, why? And he was kind of telling me kind of the same values and the same like psychology, and I was like, why do you date these girls? He's like, oh, because they're hot. I'm like, but you're wasting your time, dude. Like, come on, you're always gonna not. It's like it's like they're.
Do you think you date a would you care about if you were dating a liberal or conservative? Would you be like picky about something like that?
If I found that they're liberal or conservative?
Yeah, like would it bother you if they were like, I don't know, maybe too liberal or too conservative, or you have like a preference?
I think I do now. Just because I've given people too many chances. I'm just cynical and resigned right now. But I mean, I don't like people just because they're conservative too. Because I feel like conservatives get too uppity. They can get too uppity too. So it's just basically you're just gonna have to respect me for my opinion, and I'll respect you for yours. But I just feel like at this point in time, the liberal people are more intolerant than the conservatives. Even with friends, like I'm finally starting to make friends now, and I've been in Austin 3 years, and my best friend, I have some friends in Houston that are cool, but Austin is like, oh yeah, you're in Texas, you know. yeah. So I have friends in Houston, and my best friend and a couple, they're in Houston, but in Austin, it's just been so hard to like make friends, and I don't want to. I'm at the point in my life I don't want to have bullshit superficial friends. So I could have friends, if I were to play the game. You know, I could have more friends. I could have a bunch of friends by now. But like I'm a Bikram yogi. I've been on and off for like 10 years. So the first things I did when I came here was join a yoga studio, trying to find some like-minded people that love Bikram yoga, and it was cool until they saw my Facebook. And then they just stop inviting me places. I would go and they just start like ignoring me, and I'm like, okay, you know, fuck you too then, you know. So and I know one guy was interested in me, and then he was like, oh, you're anti-vaccine. I can't, like, you know, he was like scared of me and shit. I'm like, you're not gonna even ask me why. Like, I'm the type of person, if somebody believes something very different than what I believe, I'll be like, well, why? Like, I love to talk to people. I'll ask them before I make a judgment, you know. But yeah, and I feel like I'm seeing somebody now, but he's very like, I'm talking to somebody now. He's very he's conservative in some ways, but he's not. Yeah. He's not. I don't know. He's not judgmental. He's that person you can just talk stuff out. You know what I mean? I don't. So I want somebody. I mean, there's certain things that we're gonna have to agree. Like certain things that we'll have to. If we're gonna if I'm gonna get married, we're gonna build a life together. There's certain things that we're gonna have to see eye to eye on. Like there's no fucking way. Like I let people up right front know that my vaccine views like right away. They know that's something. Yeah. Because I tried to be like, oh, you know, I'll bring that up later, but no, it's always bad, and when other people do it, it's always bad too. Like I knew somebody. I have a friend. One of my friends in Houston is a nurse, and she's anti-vaccine. 4 kids, none of them are vaccinated. All of them are super healthy, except the first one that was partially vaccinated. She had a bad reaction, and then she started doing research, and she was like, And the rest of the other 3 kids are like perfectly healthy, and she's a nurse, so she still has to be like, she has to be covert about her views, you know, a lot of ways. But she met this dude, and she was going to move in with him, and then he found out that she was anti-vaccine, and that just threw everything. Like, wow. They both had kids, and then he was like, I don't want your kids around my kids, and then he was like, I'm gonna have my ex-wife who's a lawyer come and talk to you. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? What? Yeah, it was crazy. He lost his damn mind. So that's just something that I know is like a deal breaker, is the vaccine thing. They're gonna have to understand my views on that, and also like I like to travel. I'm not gonna be traveling. I'm not taking vaccines. I'm not doing any of that shit. Like never ever. I'm like hardcore. There's some people that are like, I'm not pro-vax, I'm anti-vax. No, I'm an ex-vaxxer, anti-vaxxer.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And if you want to do it, that's fine. Like, I'm not trying to say people can't do it. Just don't force it on me. So anyway, so that's like just, I guess it would just have to, I'm trying to answer your question. Certain values, pro-life, respect for that.
And like what, homeschooling too, you would probably want someone who was like into
but I mean, definitely I would want somebody that's into homeschooling. But I mean, the homeschooling thing is, because if I found like a good, like maybe Waldorf Steiner school or Montessori school, I would be open to that. They don't have to be homeschooled. I just have to find a good school that's going to make them well-rounded and not brainwash them, basically. So I'm not close to not being homeschooled. I'll have to. I would like to. I'm saying that now, but I don't know. I know, like, being a mom is a lot of work, so being a mom and a teacher just seems like it would be very, very crazy amount of work. What else? I mean, the medical stuff is really important, because I think for me, without a strong, if you're not healthy, you can't fight the good fight. You can't be cognizant. You can't absorb all this information if you're being biochemically assaulted. So for me, they'd have to be okay with that. But as far as like them voting, I don't know. Like, I just don't see like how you can like Hillary Clinton and really like either the people that really support her, they just never bother to really look into how corrupt she is, or they'll just chalk it up. They'll just say, "Oh, all politicians are corrupt." Yeah, but she's fucking takes the cake, you know. But there are people that really like vehemently like fight for her. It's like there's something wrong with them. I agree. Like something's wrong with them. So I probably wouldn't, if they were like the finest dude ever, but I found out if they're like, I'm with her, I'm like, no pussy for you. Like, none. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it would just be immediately turned off. And they probably feel the same way about me, and that's fine. We'll just keep it moving, you know? But, I did
I feel like my views are like so radical to certain people that like I wouldn't even be an option to go on one date with anyway. So it's just, the crazy thing I noticed is people, because like, I mean, I've always been a conservative, but I never really talked about it like online before. And I noticed that now that I'm online and people are finding me like from the past, and they're like horrified. They're just like, oh my gosh. But I've always been a conservative though. I just never really talked about it in that way, I guess. But I've always been that way. But they're just like, I don't even know you anymore. You know, they're just like, who are you?
You've changed. My brother was like, you've changed. I was like, I really haven't. Like, I'm just. I'm like, are you serious?
I'm just more vocal, but I'm not. I haven't changed. A lot of people in my family, like in Chicago, they knew that we were like, pro-life or conservative or whatever. But when I got online, that's just when it was just like, that was just too much. They were just like, all right. You can't be doing all that. you gotta calm down.
Wow.
I don't know what it is.
Wow, it's fascinating to me. There are a lot. I mean, I don't know. I did Tinder for a while, and then I couldn't. But I did put on my profile that I was anti-vaccine and pro-Trump, and I saw and I still got a lot of responses, but I noticed that a lot of people didn't read it. They didn't read it. They didn't even care. I was hoping I would just weed out some people, and they didn't care. But I wasn't really digging Tinder, so I'm just going out more and trying to be more. I've been kind of like a recluse. What do you say? A recluse. This past year since the election, because I'm just like, I live in Austin. I live in Austin. And I get approached by guys a lot, and they're all fucking liberal. And I know. And I'm just, and I feel, and it seems bad because I'm like, okay, now I'm discriminating against liberal, but it's just more the ideology, because they'll like start talking about Black Lives Matter and shit, and I'm just like, you bore me the fucking tears. You're such a pussy. Why are you fucking like into, like, there's this guy today, I work for Lyft, I do Lyft, and he was black, and he was like, trying to hit on me and shit, but he was just, the whole ride, he was talking about, like, how he was just angry at white people.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
yeah.
how, like,
I
can't, no, liberal or not, I can't be around anybody that's just that angry and just wants to be angry all the time. I'm just over. So I guess it's not even like a liberal thing. I guess to me the turnoff is just the victim mentality, the virtue signaling, the hypocrisy, and the anger that these people have. And so no matter whether you're a conservative or a liberal, I don't want to, like, don't even look at me. You know, like, just keep it moving. So, but it just seems like that those type of people that have that mentality are liberals and are on the left at this moment. Yeah. If I met a conservative like that, then I'd be like, be gone as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. I totally agree. I think that what irritates me a lot about a lot of guys with that, seems to be kind of new, because I mean, I remember the 90s and everything, and I don't remember guys being like this, like, angry or wimpy, and I feel like it happened over the past 8 years with the last guy in office. And I just noticed, like, Starbucks. Okay, so you know how they had the bias training? Yeah. And so I watched a video. I watched the video from the bias training, and it was like all these black people, and like a couple of them were like black guys, and this guy was like, you know, everywhere I go, I have to make sure my hands are in the right place so people don't think I'm stealing. I have to make sure my tone is okay. I have to, like, sometimes I just don't even want to leave the house. And I was like, what? This is a full-grown man.
How do you get laid, dude? Like, for real, like, that's what I just look at these guys and I'm just like, how do you, like, how do you live your life? What a horrible, like, paranoid way to live.
Yeah, you know? Like, that's not manly, that's not masculine, that's not attractive. You're scared of white people. Like, what the heck? That's what it sounds like to me. Like, you're just, and I don't even think white people are even thinking about them in that, like that, you know, like, yeah, maybe there's one here and there, but they talk as if walking out of their front door is hard because they know they're going to be judged. They know that they could be arrested. They could be shot, you know, things like that. And I'm just like,
well, it's honestly, going back to how we started this conversation, it's the brainwashing of the media.
Yeah.
You know, they're capitalizing on people's fears and insecurities, and they're weaponizing it and using it against them. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I know you don't really watch regular TV, do you? I think I saw you say that on the video.
Yeah, I watch Netflix from time to time. I don't even have a TV.
Yeah, I watch Netflix. Yeah, Netflix. I don't even watch it that much. I just have it for my son. But one time I got like a free episode from ABC. It was like this show. It was like superheroes, and it was a woman and like a few people who like weren't superheroes, but like the rest of the world were superheroes. And so she's like the boss, like the man, like the boss of everyone, which they always like to do that, I guess, is put the woman in charge. And there was a black guy, and she was talking to the group, and she was like, "I'm gonna whip you guys in shape." And then she just did like the whip thing. And then the camera pans over to the black guy, and he's like, looks like it's a comedy, by the way. And
it's a cartoon?
No, it was a real show, like Humans.
Okay.
It was like a real show, and it was supposed to be a comedy. And he was like, and then she looks over at him, and then she's like, "Oh, I shouldn't have said that, huh?" And he was like, you know, he like shakes his head, no. And I was like, what? I turned it off. But I was just like, you guys are the ones who keep suggesting slavery. Like, we would just be over it now. We wouldn't talk about it anymore. Keep bringing it up. Why would you do that? This is a comedy about superheroes. And then she says whip, and then they pan to the black guy. Like, what? So why?
And you know what?
Like, they have to watch their words. You know, can't say whip in front of a black person. Like, what the heck is that?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's fucking mind control. That's what it is. This is one of the reasons I quit acting too, just because I was in theater arts. I'm an artist too, like theater arts and music composition. I'm just telling you my background. So, but when you're a theater arts major, you not only take acting, you take writing and lighting design, and so it's not. But my emphasis was acting, and then later moved to writing. So when I went to LA, I focused on acting, and this is one of the reasons too I just walked away, because I felt like a lot of the roles are very stereotypical like that, and I would get called for stuff like that, and I'd always suck at it because I just felt like I just like, what, like. Or they would try and make me be the sassy black girl or the hooker. Yeah. I got so many like ho auditions, you know, And a lot of my friends too. And I was like, I'm a trained actor. I went to school. I did that. Like, I respect the art form, but yet, like, this is what I'm being offered. I was like, fuck you. Unless I'm not doing this, unless I'm like creating my own stuff or creating for other people. Because I still feel the need to create and be creative. Like, they can't take that away from me. But so like I kind of just imagine auditioning for that stuff. And I have friends that are they're still pursuing acting, but they're constantly complaining. I have friends, Asian friends, Black, another friend, like they're constantly complaining about like the stereotypical boxes that they're being put into. And man, I mean, I know that actor probably wanted money, was happy he got that role, but at the same time, just like I bet you, like, I wonder how you felt. I wonder how you felt about that.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I don't know, to be a man and to like be in that scenario, like where they're just making you look like you're offended because a white woman said whip, like I just seems like I wouldn't want to be in that position. My brother, he's like a hardcore like dude, I guess, like he's just like, he's not down with all, like he actually lives in California now, and I think he lives near Hollywood, so there's a lot of like gay people and stuff there, and like he's just like, he's so bothered by guys acting feminine. Like that's just that bothers him, and just guys acting weak and guys just not being like masculine and manly. Like that's what I'm used to seeing, guys like that,
Yes, but I even have gay friends that are gay, but they're masculine, manly. Like I know gay people that have an issue with other men being effeminate and other.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Yeah.
You know what though? I think somebody told me to reach out to a gay Republican because I actually want to talk about some gay people in the series too. And because honestly, I see a lot of parallels between gay people, the gay community, and Black people, and how we're kind of put in these boxes. And I think that just how I was talking about the blacker than thous, where we have to act and dress and talk a certain way. I see the same thing with gay people, like how I feel like in order for gay people to feel like they're part of a community or be accepted, that they have to, like, if you're a man, you have to talk with the lisp. You have to, like, be feminine. And a lot of it doesn't even seem like it's real to me. It seems like they're faking it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not their true nature, that they're being effeminate and they're being a certain way because they feel like they have to fit into this community for protection or for whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that'd be, you should do that. There's, I'm on Instagram a lot, and I have a few gay Republican or gay conservative followers, and they talk about similar things, and I love it. I love that they're, like, talking about, and they're just not being, like, I guess following the crowd, and there's a good amount. It's like a whole community of them on there, and
because I know people that are gay, and they're just like, I'm gay, like I'm just me, but I'm happy to be gay. I like video games, I like basketball, I do stuff like that, but I'm gay. Like I'm not like into rainbows and pink triangles and going to the club all the time, which is fine. I have friends that are gay that are that too, but I also feel that it's become this thing, like I said, that they have to fit into. That's not really, it doesn't really seem natural. Like that, like this is what they're, supposed to be like. And
yeah, you're right about it being similar to the Black thing, because I do think that like a lot of times I think the Black people, a lot of times they act a certain way because they think they're supposed to, and so I kind of do think it's similar. And or I like like the man on the street type interviews, they'll be like Jesse Lee Peterson. Have you ever seen his stuff? Yeah, he'll be like on the street and he'll go to a Black neighborhood and he'll be like, so what do you think of Trump? And they'll be like, oh, F Trump, It's like a knee-jerk reaction to not like Trump, It's like they didn't really think about it. They just said, oh,
and then, he'll be like, who is he? Then he's like, I don't know, but fuck him. You know what I mean? Like, they don't really know anything about him. Oh, no, I don't like that motherfucker. What does he do? I don't know. But fuck Trump.
I ain't supposed to like him. He's racist, Well, even though he never became racist until 2 years ago. But
when he was hanging out with all those rappers and stuff. He would like be partying with the rappers and stuff. He'd be like, hey man, come to the hotel. Like really, they just found out he was this hardcore racist just like, a few months ago. Seriously, they like if they're just figuring this out now, then they're stupid. Like, sorry.
Yeah. You could tell a lot of them, they just think they're, I remember when I was a kid in elementary school and Bill Clinton was running and they did like a mock like voting thing, and I remember saying, well, I guess I'd vote for Bill Clinton because he's for Black people, or and because he's a Democrat and Democrats vote Black, or Black people vote Democrat, and now I'm older and I'm like, what the heck? Where did I get that from?
Yeah, I mean, this I'm saying we're in this culture where we just consume information and consume ideologies without really thinking about it. And I think this is what's led us. And now people are becoming awake to that, and they're starting to make more informed, enlightened, edifying decisions. So
yeah,
I'm gonna have to start wrapping it up. I'm sorry. I know we'll talk forever. We'll be like, this would be like a 4-hour interview. I wanted to wrap it up a little longer, but I was having fun. So, but I want to ask you one more last question, and then I'll have people to figure out where they find you. So, what is your what do you want to see for America? What are your dreams for America? How do you want to see America in the future?
I think that it'd be nice. I think if we were more united. Like, I feel like a lot of times the reason they vote the way they do, or the reason they live in the neighborhoods they live in, like a lot of my family live in like the black neighborhood, is because they're like, oh, well, the suburbs are for white people, or, I don't vote that way because that's the way white people vote, or, things like that. And like, even with the Hispanic people and stuff, they're like, they stay in their neighborhoods, and I don't like that. I wish that we could kind of see ourselves all as American more, and I also wish we could hold the media accountable for lying. Like, that's really getting on my nerves. But
the thing is, a lot of people don't think the media is lying. That's the thing. The hump to get over. They're blaming alternative media, so it's been a flip. It's this paradigm shift,
Yeah, but I don't like that. But more than anything, I just wish we would be more united, and that we would at least, because obviously we're going to be divided on, there's going to be conservatives and liberals no matter what. But I just think a lot of people are making decisions or voting a certain way just because of things that they've been told. They're just, well, I'm gay, so that's why I'm a liberal, or I'm, and just things like that. That kind of, I just wish we would be more united. Because I also think that like black people, they think of themselves as living in, the white man's world here,
Yeah, they don't see themselves as part of the world. That's the thing, the community, for sure.
They're just in their world. And so, but I don't think we should look at ourselves like that. Our family, like a lot of us, the black people here, have been here more generations than a lot of white people. Like, our families, been here for probably, some of them hundreds of years, and a lot of them, they've only been here for 2-3 generations maybe. And so I just think that we should just go ahead and embrace it. Where else are we going to go? We're American.
Yeah.
And so
we have stake in this country because we built a lot. We fought for this country. We've died in wars for this country. So it's our fucking country too.
It is, and I just wish that I would love for us to just all kind of be more united in that way, and not just be so like black, white, Mexican, gay, straight, stuff like that. And so that'd be nice.
That's good. Yes, I think that's a lot of people. I ask that question. A lot of people kind of answer along those lines. So where can we find you? How do we get a hold of you? You're starting your own channel soon, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I really am.
Do it.
Yeah, but so far, like, I just started doing Twitter, so I don't have that many followers, but on Twitter, on Instagram, and on YouTube, I'm at American Curls, but with 2 S's. Curls with 2 S's.
American Curls, 2 S's. Okay.
Yeah, American Curls, like American Girl.
I know, I like that. It's a good thing. Yeah, I get it.
And so, yeah, that's how you find me. It's the same name everywhere with 2 S's. But, also, though, I feel like I should mention something about my surgeries and things, because, I'm thinking some people might not understand what's going on with me. And so I don't talk about it a lot on my Instagram. I used to, but I like talking about politics more than my health issues. But, yeah, I've had like 1 million surgeries, like 9. I think I've had 9 surgeries. I think now I'm starting to lose count. But I've had, like, my joints replaced, and so in case anyone's wondering, like, what's happening with you, that's what it is. It's something that happened when I was, like, 19, got really sick, and been, I guess, learning to live with it now. But I don't talk about it that much on my page, because I'd rather talk about politics.
So, well, if you do want to talk about that, though, I think that there are a lot of people with health issues, and you can bond with people over that too. That's actually a unique take, and the fact that you're not using it as a crutch to, you're not. What am I trying to say? People, you're not using your handicap as a way to get people's attention, but as a way to empower people. and make them be like,
Yeah,
all right,
yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think I wish that you would talk about it. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
But I
You
can
know,
understand
I
the
talked
insecurity
about it.
too, because people can be mean, and especially when you're getting out there, you know, people you're gonna have trolls that are gonna make fun of you before that.
Yeah.
That sucks. I'm not trying to
Yeah.
scare you, but I think you're
Yeah.
stronger that you can take it. But I think that I think I would like to see you talk about it. So American Curls.
Yeah. Yeah, American Curls.
Is it good? Do you have a YouTube too?
Oh, what'd you say?
Do you have a YouTube as well?
Oh, I haven't loaded anything, but it's American Curls on there too. I'm pretty sure it is, but I haven't put anything on there yet. But yeah, I mostly do like Instagram, like politics and stuff. And I recently have mentioned a couple things about my health, and so I think that is something I want to like slowly add in there. More like stuff I've learned, you know, like
empower
like
people. Like you don't have to be
Yeah.
like. You know, you never, when you talked about with me, I never got the sense that you're trying to make a sob story or anything. But I think that, I think you can talk about it as a way to empower people. And trust me, with all the vaccines, the chemicals, the medications that people are giving, you're not the only one. There are lots of people that have health problems, and they probably would love to see an empowered person talking about it. It'd be cathartic for you too, I think, and it'd be good for them. So yeah.
Yeah, totally. And I don't, coming from the experience of a disabled, I guess technically disabled person, I think Trump, he's not, I don't know. I just think that's one thing I probably would talk about, because I just hate when they like lump the disabled people in, like Trump hates disabled, he hates Mexicans, he hates blacks, he hates gays. Like, come on, like, are you serious?
He just hates everybody. Damn. You know, like, does he have any?
Like white males, I guess.
Straight white males. Yeah, totally. All right, we can talk after this, but I'm gonna wrap it up. All right, Raquel, American Girls. I know, because we're having too much fun. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go. We're gonna see you later. Peace and love. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.